Hello, welcome to this Thursday. Is it Thursday? Yeah, I thought it was Wednesday for some reason. These pre-Easter days have gone really quick, let's say, but that's fine. And be welcome again to the stream today. It's another day of building our RPG personal productivity app. I have to say I'm very pleased with the progress we made, especially yesterday. We updated some of the visual assets with the new 4.0 GPT model. That was awesome. And so far, we haven't encountered like any bug or error that has like has pushes to redefine or do anything of the big things of the app, right? So I just mentioned there in the just made a shout out there on the Lovable channel. So if anyone's coming from there, please drop a comment. We'll love, and I'm always open to invite people over the stream as well and discuss good ideas. So yeah, let's begin. Let's get started. Okay. What are we going to do today? I have a couple of things in my checklist of things that I would like to do with the app, right? So we're gonna check it live real quick. This is the things that we did yesterday. Most of them was like QA and really polishing things up. Nothing like introducing new features or anything, if I recall correctly. And today we're gonna do more of the same. So updating some things that don't look polished yet. And I think the main focus today was going to be getting the onboard screen right. Okay. I mean, it's not the onboarding, it's the dashboard, which is one of course, our main screens on this app. So I'm going to run my local server here just to show you how this looks like today. If you come in again from the Lovable channel, I kind of mentioned to create some urgency there that we're taking a new approach to to creating this app, and I'm gonna show you what I mean in a second after I show you how the screen looks like. So this is actually an advance. I'm gonna try to log out. Let's see if I can just go over here because I want to log out actually, right? I go out here. All right, so if I sign up, we have like 1 million test accounts right now. I should clean up the super page a bit. You have the onboarding process, right? With a couple of options that will be helpful as a product level to kind of help us understand our customers' motivations, our users' motivations a bit more. I don't want to say customers because I don't really plan to make a business out of this. Like maybe in the future, I'm gonna come up with a paid assets, premium assets, something like that. But so far, it's gonna be a free app. So let's see how that goes. Especially because it's something that was born from my own problem and intention, you know. So we got all the different classes. We got the genders as well for each of the classes, and then you get the language characters, and you already see the process, right? So let me show you real quick with like a visual demonstration. What do I mean with this new approach that I'm taking with Lovable, right? So there you go. So not before, right? But this is your regular, this is our highly like overview of your regular development process, right? Regular app development. And you got your vibe coding app development, right? So in the regular app development, you usually, let's assume this bar is like the entire progress of making an usable app, right? And when you like do a regular traditional with a development team, technical consideration app development, you usually have like different steps right inside here, right? You have a development step. Let me do this with the pencil. You have a development step, right? Then you have, a planning step, right? Then you have a backend step. Then you connect that backend with a front end that is made. Then you QA, and then you launch, right? That this is a very simplistic overview, right? So like plan, backend, but I think it summarizes pretty well how the process overall is like. You build the front end, then you do some QA, right? And then you launch or deploy. So here's traditional process, right? And usually you go step by step. When you're building an app, you first sit down and you plan the features. If you're from the product world, you might use something as a requirement description, a PRD document, which contain user stories. Like you map out things, right? And that's very important because I actually recommend you to do that always, even if you're writing coding or no. Just knowing ahead what you're trying to build and what are the most like the non-negotiable features of the thing you're trying to build. Check it out, MVP and the concepts of MVP and MVT if you want to learn more about that. And the problem is that in the vibe coding app development, let's assume that you will have the same steps, right? So let's assume that there's building apps just like the regular app development way is like the known and the successful way of building apps. When you do it with the vibe coding tools, or at least what the current vibe coding tools kind of push you to do, is to start like from a random point where you got like backend. Let me do you got backend, right? So with the first prompt, he's already building backend, front end, and maybe some planning. I don't know, because I know he created some documentation and maybe some QA because you can test the features as well, and nothing about it. So what happens now is that you have this whole section right here that it's kind of problematic, right? Because this is like the first step. This is like when you put up a prompt and it creates a feature, it gives you a backend, so you kind of connect it to the database. It has some logic, and if you want to move to a second step, right? Let's say that now I want to kind of build another feature. The second feature will be like something like this, right? So it will again start from the front end, create some back end that might be not exactly compatible, as you can see, like in the drawing I'm making with the previous backend we did with the old prompt, and same with the QA, right? Maybe it's a different QA that you need to do, and it's not even part of the lab, right? So I believe I have the theory that this right here, those white and red lines that overlap together, it's exactly what gives you development errors during the process while you are using bytecoding tools. Because instead of focusing on kind of building the pillars of the building, right? So the floor, the roof, the pillars, you start like building rooms and decorating the rooms in the middle of nowhere, right? It's like if you were building a building, like when you write coding and what this tools usually push you to do, and I think you also like the mainstream interpretation of bytecoding is that you can just start creating rooms and kind of skip or avoid any of the foundational process, which at least from my point of view is incorrect, because what that does is it gets you a monster during the development process that will probably require you to restart the project or rebuild the features. So the new approach I'm taking with this project we're building in a second, I'm using the very same vibe coding tools to follow the regular app development process. So instead of telling Lovable to build screens and rooms that are decorated within the first prompt or within the first prompts, I'm asking it to build sandboxes or subfolders, however you want to call it, just a separate instance that it's independent, that it's inside the project, that has all the logic needed, all the planning needed, and also that interacts with all the other things it needs to interact in order to work well. For example, in our RPG productivity app, we begin in the first steps. So this is actually, you can check it out, like the first episodes on YouTube and on X, I think they're saved as well. But we began building the pillars of the features we were going to use, and we knew we're going to use because we work with something called the Vive doc, which is like a very rough PRD version of yeah, it's a very rough version of the PRD, right? It's like it contains the core concept of the app, some of the most important user actions, the features that are going to be needed, the suggestions for the database structure, QA scenarios to test each of the features you get in, and many other stuff. I work with many versions, but this is like the version we use. And we use this document to kind of know where to start building the features, right? So feature implementation details, right? We knew we needed an onboarding, we needed a habit management process, we needed an experience level system, we needed a character and stat management, and you even got here what I want to add in the next versions of the app, right? So you got like compass system, inventory management, that's for the version 2. But the important thing is that I had mapped out what kind of systems or features, pillars I needed to build in order to test that the logic that I want to implement is right? So how did I do that? I just went to Lovable and I started prompting, let's create a feature within the app that it's kind of on its own folder. It's called Sandbox. I can share with you the prompt if that's something that interests you. And basically what I did was like creating this whole system of habit management, this whole system of experience and level up, and this whole system of character set management in their own vacuum. So we could test like if each of the things that we wanted that system to do were working correctly. And then we kind of, because some of these services have dependencies between them, right? So for example, if you level up, your character is going to level up. If you complete a habit, you're going to get XP. So the systems are also connected. They're not fully independent, but we create them fully independent from the beginning, precisely to avoid these overlaps here of code and logic that gets you errors in the future. So that's like a basic explanation of the process I'm doing. So far, I think it's working marvelous. I don't think every lovable project needs this because not every lovable project is I don't want to be like derogative or anything, but like there are some really good projects that you could really complete in 5 prompts, and that could be like a product that people use, and that's fine. But for something that you want to scale, for something that it's going to be complex, you might be favored to use a process like the one I just explained. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just begin with what they have today on the to-do list. We got to update the gender icons, right? Which are not showing right now. They're showing like regular users. That sounds stupid, but for some reason, I got a lot of conflict because the Lucid, which is like the icon library that I think Cursor uses by default, does not have like male and female icons. And then I actually tried to add them with Lovable, and I wasted a credit because it went back and said to me like, hey, you already got icons for female and male. And I was like, yes, I got them, but they are not icons for female and male. And they're just user icons. I don't know what to call this. And let's check the list. But our more important task is going to be building the dashboard, which I have a design ready for here. I'm still thinking about how I want it to look, so I'm not gonna make it exactly look like this because I have better ideas on where to place things, right? So for example, there's a component that is already built that has like this window and kind of bars that I can use better, and also the characters, right? What you're seeing right now, it's like the old version of the characters we had, but yesterday we kind of made new characters with the power of GPT-4o. So yeah, that's gonna be like the main goal of today was going to be building the dashboard. There's gonna probably be a lot of things that we can fix after that, like polish details, but we're okay with it. So I'm just gonna start by checking if we are using like the latest version, because I don't recall if I pushed the changes yesterday. Yeah, I don't think I did. So let's make sure I do that. Git add, git commit. If you're watching the stream and you're new or don't have much idea about vibe coding, these commands you're using here, like this is something I learned in 2 hours, how to use GitHub. It's really simple. You just need a handful of commands that you will always be using. If it's a project like this, right? If you're not working with a development team or anything, I guess that it's complicated. So the second command is just adding a message to this package I'm sending. So latest version of characters. Oh yes. I just remember I didn't commit this. I didn't push this last version yesterday because I had to wait for ChatGPT to give me the last character, the last quarter. So latest version of characters, and I just check if this is the right project, and then finally git push origin main. So again, if you're new, okay, it's returning an error. Remote and hung up unexpectedly. That's weird. Let's try again because that's an error I've never gotten before. Git commit. Your branch is ahead of. Okay, git push. Did I write the last origin main? No. Okay. The remote in hung up unexpectedly. That's a new thing actually. I'm just going to let's check. I'll try to open a new conversation just to see if that's something I need to worry about, because that's an error I never got in working with GitHub. Can you tell me what this error is about? I'm just gonna check my project on GitHub as well, just to make sure that just to check if it is or it isn't actually pushing the changes. No, it isn't. Last push was like yesterday. Let's see what Cursor says about this. Okay, so this is typically caused by pushing a file or files that exceed GitHub file size. GitHub has a max file size of 100 megabytes, and your push appears to contain a large file. Check for large files in your repo. I mean, they are I'm kind of surprised. These aren't that heavy. What I just added. So I'm just gonna go and say, just gonna check it out the folder real quick. Where is it? Is it here? No, I think it isn't here. It's public, right? Just gonna check the size of these things, right? So it's this is like, yeah, this is not even a megabyte. This is not a megabyte either. I'm just gonna ask it, is it considering the maximum space of my entire GitHub or just this project? I'm also going to see if the project itself is what is being more than 100 megabytes. I mean, yes, but I don't think that's it. There are heavier projects per individual file. Okay. Can you help me find what file this could be? Because I'm really not. Yeah, it's basically the images, the last comment I'm trying to make. I think it's okay if it fails, actually, because maybe I was planning to create a bucket, a super base bucket for these images instead. So I don't have to have the public assets here. So the problem is that I still need to update the. Yeah, I'm gonna drop this whole process. It doesn't matter. I still don't know what it's failing, to be honest. Like, Cursor is telling me that this happens. This error is happening because there's a file that is long, like it weighs more than 100 megabytes, but there's not such file in this project. I'm pretty sure about this. And just to make sure, I'm going to actually weight the assets folder real quick. So if I get info, yeah, this is 4 megabytes. So it's kind of weird, man. I'm just going to try and the old programmer trick of restarting and see if that helps out, because the error doesn't make any sense for me right now. And I still need the latest version to be pushed. So git add git commit updated characters. Okay, that's all right. It's push in main. Yeah, okay, so I guess we're gonna have to do it the other way. This was an unexpected error, but fuck it, we're gonna solve it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the assets folder from the project, which contains like all the images from the characters, even the icons, and we're gonna hand that over to Supabase. That way, I believe it's gonna like be better for usability because it's going to load quicker through CDN. It's gonna be lighter for the user, but we'll have to get help from Lovable to change the current routes. A route is basically how the image is being. It's the address of where the image is located in the folders of the project, and we don't have to replace that for like a Supabase hook that retrieves the image from the folders that we're going, the bucket that we're going to create in Supabase. So I'm going to zip this maybe. Yeah. Now, you know what? I'm going to create a new window, desktop. Yeah, maybe Supa and Supabase. We're going to move the assets in here. Right. There you go. And I'm going to check if I can make the push now. Okay, we still can. Dude, what the frick? Let's check the Git status. Yeah. Okay, it seems that we can actually remove the things directly here, so I'm just gonna paste it again. Git status. And I'm gonna check this, the GitHub again, just to make sure the changes weren't pushed. Yeah, the changes weren't pushed. Maybe let's try something else. Maybe if we can reduce the sizes of this image a bit, I believe. So let's see if that helps out. I have a tool here that does that for me. Been using it since I developed websites. It's called Image Optin, real good. Really lightweight too. It's only for Mac. Just gonna drag and drop the images there to see how much lighter we can make them. I wasn't planning to find this error today, I'm gonna be honest with you. But it is what it is. You gotta keep going. Okay, so it seems like the assets are kind of lighter now. So let's check if with this new git push origin name. Let's be a bit more descriptive to the cursor and see if it can help me better. So I've checked manually the files, and there's not a single file in my project that is more than 10 megabytes. I've even reduced the size of the assets folder, and I'm still getting this push error. Help me fix it. I'm just gonna say to him, help me cancel that last push, and I'm going to try to do it again without the asset folder. See if that works. I'm just gonna ask him if this will like delete the progress right now. You know what? Just to make sure, I'm going to get my project and I'm gonna make like a zip version of it. Just like a copy, just to make sure we don't screw up anything. There you go. Now, yes, I'm going to reset the branch. Now let's check the status. I'm gonna do it here because I wanna see the result. Public assets. Let's unstage the assets files and commit the code changes. Now let's check the status again to confirm the assets file are unstaged. Now let's commit the push, only the code changes. Okay. Okay, guess it worked. I'm just gonna read it because I want to understand what we did with the first command, like git reset soft, because the instances where I've used git reset usually reset your local instance when it's //hard. It resets your instance, so your local files, any changes that you have local will disappear and just connect to the branch ones. But I guess the soft ones undoes the things in the commit while keeping the changes locally. We stage the assets files like using this for, we can make a call, okay. Let's check it. Lovable picked up that update codes without the asset changes. So I guess that means we're not getting, we can see like the images from the characters and stuff. We have this one, okay, that's good. Yeah, it's using like the old images in Lovable what is, right? And in the local version, just to make sure, I don't know what exactly happened to those files. And in the local version, it seems that the characters are still available. Okay, so the files are there. Okay, let's try to do what I explained before. Okay, because we have a problem of uploading the assets. I'm just going to update those assets into my Supabase, into the Supabase bucket, and we're gonna try to get the images from there. So storage, I'm gonna create a new bucket called assets. I believe they want to make it public, maybe not. Maybe not. It's a good question, but I don't know. Restricts file up size, no, and okay, let's save it assets. All right, so now we're just going to drop a folder in here that is called classes, character classes. And inside character classes, we're gonna drop, I guess, this very same folders, right? So here, we have the hunter mage, warlock warrior, and I don't know, I'm gonna call this like NPCs, right? NPCs, and NPCs will have the tutorial head. So tutorial head. I'm gonna update it there. I'm just gonna check that the images were correctly loaded. We have that, and we have this ones. Right, I think I'm okay with that. Okay, so the next thing will be then instructing Lovable to make these changes for me. So what I will do is Lovable, I need help with something. I've updated the character classes images in my local project and try to make the push to the GitHub repo. However, the push failed because of the size of the files. I made the update without the assets, but it came to me that I could create a bucket in Supabase, store the assets there, and call them using Supabase instead in the project. So I want your help replacing the assets for the Supabase bucket version. Now I'm going to instruct it like what's the path and where are the files in Supabase, right? So I have a bucket called assets. The bucket is called assets, and the character classes are under assets, character classes, assets, character classes. Class, where class is mage, hunter, warrior, warlock. I need help replacing the images and icons in the onboarding screens for these new versions instead of the local ones. And also replacing the image of the dialog box in the onboarding for, which is this guy we uploaded here, NPCs tutorial head. Can I get like I was trying to check if I can get the URL, but this is not what I'm looking for. Which is under assets slash NPCs assets NPCs tutorial header. And I guess that's enough. Let's see what that does. I'm gonna check some messages here on Discord while I wait. Seems to be a long conversation going on. I'll help you update the images reference to Supervisor. Let's first create the required SQL for the storage bucket and policies. I'm just trying to understand real quick what it's doing to the database. So create the assets bucket. If it doesn't exist, it exists. Allow public. Okay, I need to allow public assets, public access to the assets. And now I should just see how this gets updated lively, I guess. Meanwhile, I'm gonna check the list just to see what I guess I'm gonna add here the assets to Superbase bucket, which is what we're doing right now. And let's check the dashboard screen, right? So we have, okay, it seems like it. It's not loading anything. Character avatar images now reference. Update the image sources to go fast supervised storage URL. The changes include character class icons. The dialog box avatar is now sourced from. I'm just gonna check that URL just to see if I get anything. Assets. Maybe because I set as a private asset, maybe it needs to be public. Let's try that. Maybe that's what missed there. And if we go ahead and yeah, I think it was that. I don't like, yeah, I don't like the fact that you can see that the images like have a bit of a delay. That I think that's why I always avoid using the buckets, because I have experience like getting this visual box where the images that kind of take a bit to load. So I'm just going to see. I'm just going to check with Lovable what we can do for it, because I honestly never tried that. What I've done in the past is I've added a mechanism where the screen won't load until all the assets that will be used there will load, right? But as you can see, like it seems like these are not being okay. They're being cached now, but I got the impression that they weren't being cached before, like cached. So I guess let me see. Let me ask Lovable about it. Thanks. Something I've noticed when using bucket assets is that they might take a while to load when they are triggered into the user view/screen. What kind of mechanism we can add? I'm just also going to go with the chat only because I don't want it to make any changes yet. I just wanted to explain what we can do. What kind of mechanism we can add? So the images load and are, I don't want to over explain. So what kind of mechanism we can add so the images load before being interactive? And I'm going to add an example. For example, right now on the character creation step of the dashboard, which is the screen you're seeing at your right, if I click on character class button, I will get a waiting time before if I get a character class button for the first time, I will get a waiting time before the image of the class fetching actually shows, which looks kind of buggy. Maria says a shout out here, like, wow, great job. Thank you, Maria. Always delivering value over here. If you guys have any questions, we'd love to read your comments as well here. Like, what are we doing? Looking at the current implementation, I can see where you experience loading delay. Here's a plan to improve the image loading experience in the character creation step. Create a hook that will preload all character class images, show loading state while images are being preloaded, cache the loaded images in memory for instance switching between classes. Let me see if I can understand this again. Create a hook that, okay, so we're going to create something that will preload all the images when the component starts mounting. We show a loading state while images are being loaded. I don't love that, to be honest, but I think we can try, see how it looks. And we'll need to preload, the main variants, user combination of state management to track loading process, add subtle loading indications during the initial load. Keep your current fallback system for error handling. Okay, let's see what it does. So let's go, yes. Let's proceed with the plan and see how it looks. I want to see how it looks. because maybe I want to set up an instruction somewhere in the project where every other image I'm going to use in the future like goes to the same system. So maybe that needs to be a component instead of something that it's just lives in the onboarding process, as it seems to be what it's doing right now with the onboarding process. I will also, I think I should have make this explicit, but I think I will rather have a loading indicator for the entire screen instead of having a loading indicator for the images. So let's try it. Let's reload this. I think, yeah, I think this is not going to work because the images are already cached on my computer. But luckily, I have my phone here, which is out of battery. I just noticed. That's odd. I guess we're gonna have to go with maybe getting the local version, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fetch the changes. I have that command saved here. That's gonna disappear the asset folders, I believe. Yeah, it's gonna use the old ones. Okay, that's fine. I'm actually going to delete that afterwards, and I'm going to run my server here. In a new private window, probably. Help. Signing help now. Sign up. Okay, just choose this real quick. Yep. Okay, I guess the skeleton loading thing could be a bit better. Like it's kind of ugly right now, but at least it's doing what it was supposed to do, which is preventing that weird flickering when you were changing the assets. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to tell Lovable. I'm gonna tell Lovable to systematize this. Okay, so I'm gonna go and say it. That's great. That's great. Good job. You need to congratulate the AI here. That's great. Good job. Now I want you to help me with something related. One, I want to make sure what we just did for the image in the onboarding is something that all of the screen with visual assets do before loading. How can we componentize slash systematize this system we've just integrated and leave some instructions in the code or under, we have a folder where we actually like giving some instructions, right, in docs to document this for future screens. We have already a component that we migrated from another project, by the way, which is like the basic layout for the page, right? So we have a component that is just the blank background color that you see here with the margins that you're seeing. So and also loading like the navigation menu, which you can see on the screen in the next one, like this navigation menu right here. So well, maybe we can say. I don't know, maybe you can consider that component, which is called has to be around somewhere. I know if I see the name, I'm gonna remember, but I just don't remember right now. It's not in sandbox. I know it had a slash or something. Page layout, yeah, page layout DSX. A question mark there. So I'm gonna read the instruction. I want to make sure that what we just did for the images on the onboarding is something that all of the screens pages with visual assets do before loading. How can we componentize? Is that the right word? Maybe this is systematize this system. Okay, that's very relevant. Turn this into a system. And leave some instructions in the core on the docs to document this for future screens developed. And I'm gonna say in the future because we don't really have any other. I don't want him looking for any screen right now. We don't have any other screens that use heavy visual assets, so I'm fine with that. And also I'm gonna say, also please let me know how can I edit the styling of the skeleton elements if I wanted to change the color or something. I'm gonna go with that. See what it comes up with. Because right now, I'm gonna check it on a new window again. If I go and sign up, I get that skeleton thing, that's fine. I'm also kind of surprised that this head, it's not components to the character dialog. Okay, disappeared then. But I'm kind of surprised the head, the floating head, it's not also flickering. So I have the suspicions that it's using still the local version. There's a way to test that, right? We're gonna test that in a second. Let's just see what Lovable did here. I'll have you create a reusable system for image loading and document how to use skeleton. Let's break it down into parts. Create a more flexible and reusable image preloaded hook with description for documentation. Great. Add a comprehensive documentation in the docs image preloading that explains how to use the image preloading system, best practices. Okay. Enhance the skeleton component with better subscripts, sample surface visualization, and we got an error. We gotta fix it now. To use custom colors or animation with skeleton components, you can now do things like, yeah, but where's this place? Like, that's what I wanted to ask. Like, where's this? Where do I place this? Probably on the same page document, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna say in a bit. Let's try to fix a few errors. And I'm gonna check the code real quick and see if the dashboard page, for example, I think it's the character creation. Character creation. If it has any skeleton in here. I don't think it does. Does it? No. Here maybe? Southern prompts, rounded MG, background muted. I wonder what background muted is, like what kind of color, if it's the color we're seeing. I see the issue. The image preloader hook is being called without providing the required image URLs argument. Okay, that's understandable because we added that hook to the page layout component, and page layout doesn't load any image itself. This is the way to handle. Okay, we're gonna keep that, I guess. And I wanted to try something, but I forgot. Oh yeah, the skeleton thing, right? So we're gonna make I'm gonna bring the code locally real quick to see the skeleton changes that we want to make. And skeleton. This is the documentation, all right. Sidebar skeleton, right? So I think it's in skeleton, right? Like if we modify skeleton here, this is to be like the default. I go and set background green. Let's see if that changes. I'm gonna go and open the window here again. Oh, that's not the local host. Sign up real quick. This is already taken, of course, my bad. Okay. Next. Yeah, that's the right color. Okay, I like that. So what I'm gonna do is just change it to be default this style of this box we had here. And if I recall correctly, that style was this 0.5. Okay, let's try to find that out on the code just to get the right color. So if I go in 0.5, I know that it's using it on the character creation here. So 0.5, that's not it. Character dialog is using it too, yeah. Maybe we just use this, like background white. Yeah, let's not make it that complex right now. I think this is going to look just fine. Let me check. Let me check without the cache. Shift reload doesn't work here. Okay, let's just pop a new window. And I guess we need to restart the server too. I just want to make sure the changes are working. So I'm gonna try that again. Bam, bam. Okay, I don't know why it's not showing me anymore. Like, that's weird, but okay, I'll let it pass. I make sure that was the element I was targeting, so I'm not dying to know if I can test it right now, to be honest. That's fine for me. But now I'm gonna push these changes. Git add pen, git commit message, added custom color to skeleton loader. Git push. All right. Also, I wanted to remove the assets folder as well, but I guess I'm gonna do that later. I'm just gonna make sure that he got the commit. That's right, he got it. And okay, let's just move to the next step now. So we updated the assets to the SOPA base bucket. That's fine. We did that. I have to read. This is something that I actually don't know. So if any of you actually in the chat know about it, please let me know. But I'm trying to wait. What assets should I use as something that the user should store, and what assets should I leverage to the Supabase hooks to get it from a bucket, right? I'm guessing my mind goes through prioritizing this into using like a standard of usage. So if you're gonna use the asset a lot or in a lot of screens and it's not that big, less than 1 megabyte, for example, maybe it's useful to have it inside the local assets folder. But if it's something that you can like gonna use eventually, maybe not every time, then probably registering in Supabase and getting them into a bucket, it's a better idea. I have no idea what criteria should I use. I'm gonna ask the AI later for that to see what images or what assets should I keep locally and what assets should I leverage to Supabase. That's a great question. Also, I'm gonna take note here that for the next projects, maybe it's a good idea. It'll be a good idea to set a skeleton loading system from the beginning and image leveraging from the beginning, right? Because I think I had luck this time because, you know, I don't have many pages, many features, many components yet. But if I did this, like switching my image usage from a bucket instead of locally in a later stage of the project, I would need the AI code editor to go through all the pages that I had in order to change those assets. So at least we did it in a good time in the development of the project, I believe. Great. So the next thing is actually I'm just going to prioritize this because I really want to see how much progress we can do on the dashboard today. And we're already running out of time. Okay. So these minor things, I'm just gonna leave them out for later. For now, let's focus on the dashboard. So the dashboard screen right now looks like this. And the good news is we already have a previous version of this project that, by the way, got totally blocked by errors and bugs, that it's using like a version we manually built similar to the design to the dashboard screen, right? It's also here in dashboard static. I'm gonna run the server here just to see how it looks right now. Dashboard static HTML, right? So dashboard static HTML, and this is like the basic layout that we have. I think I'm happy with it. Maybe, of course, I'm gonna check the icons and stuff, but I'm not sure if I'm getting the right transparency from these elements here. But that's right. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take that file from the old project, right? Gonna see what kind of scripts it is, what kind of yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's do the following. I'm gonna copy that page, dashboard static, pen, and then I'm gonna paste it on my current project, probably under, I don't know, source. I'm gonna create a new folder here called references, and inside reference and just paste dashboard. Then I'm going to check the prompt I used yesterday. I think we actually used a very good prompt yesterday when we are integrating the onboarding components, right? Help me select some of the classes in the app. I'm going to check a couple of parts. Some conflicts. Okay, and hold on. I'm gonna think for a second, okay? Because I want to make sure the migration helps me with as much as possible. I'm gonna go to Figma real quick, right? And if I check the screen right here, I'm just going to see how it looks like in here. Okay. All right. I guess this is fine. I guess if it gets this, it's very close to what we want to achieve. So I guess it's fine. Let's just give it that. Yeah. And let's go with remove this. Say, hey, thanks. This is the last thing it did for me. I've migrated a new file called dashboard.html, which contains UI elements I want to import. It contains I want to import to our current UI and layout. I want to import to our current dashboard page. Hey Ashley, what's up? I'm vibe coding an app. Vibe coding what do you call? It's in the title, a personal productivity app based on like an RPG game concept using Lovable. So stick around if you want to do that. And right now I'm just figuring out how to instruct the AI to import something already built and designed to our new project, which contains the UI and layout I want to import from current dashboard page. Let's see some of the notes we see here. I will also different names. I think this isn't actually the one we use. Was it? It is. Okay. Maybe it's from a later instruction. Okay. I'm gonna get a new file called dashboard. Which one I want to import or approach. So I want you to use it to replace the current dashboard TSX layout and UI. Of course, I will need you to connect. Is that comment, by the way? I have to check if the reference I'm using has comments about the character avatar, the character stats. Okay, it is comments. To connect the dynamic components, which are static in the template provided. With our system, data system to work correct. I want you to skip the styles embedded in the template and try to match them using the styles that we already have. This project styles / components we already have in this project. What else do I want to do? I'm actually also finding right now if I want to give this instruction to Lovable or to Cursor. I don't know why I think I did the latest instruction with Lovable. No, I did it with Cursor, so let's keep it like that. Finally, I just want to mention that for some of the QA controls we currently have on the dashboard. Wow, this is using a very old version, by the way, what I'm checking right here. So I'm just gonna go to Lovable, close this, a couple of windows in here. Okay, let's just mention, let's also create a new settings page accessible from the nav bar. The dashboard should, this is a couple of instructions, extra instructions. The dashboard should still have and use the nav bar component. And we going to let's also create a new settings page as visible from the navbar icon. And let's move the current testing and QA buttons for the boxes and also the logout option to this settings page instead. Let's see what it does with this. I feel pretty confident. I think this is where the magic happens. See, it says, let's check if we need to import RPG stat service to get the derived stat for the character. Of course, he needs to do that. And that's a good sign because that's what we build for. We build that RPG stat service separated from the screen that we're trying to build now. So when it's building it, it has less errors. I'm probably jinxing it right now and I'm gonna get an error, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be less errors than if I just started building all of this with a single prompt and just trying to go with the approach that I just showed it when the stream began. It's creating the settings page. It hasn't done any changes to dashboard. And while this loads, I'm going to get a glass of water. So I'll be right back. Still creating the settings page. Okay. I was just testing here in the stream if you could like see the comments. You can, I think, right? You can see on the stream, but it takes a lot of space. I don't like taking that much space. Did it actually update the dashboard UI? Oh, it did, but it says like create a settings page. You updated the dashboard UI, completely implemented the UI based on the HTML. Okay, it says it did it, but I don't see it happening. So let's just take his word for it and let's test it. So if I go here now and I'm signed up, so yeah, it should open. Okay. Victor, I don't know. I like the name Victor. Okay, I think it's a pretty good start, to be honest. Victor, I don't think it's picking up the right stats because Victor is a mage and I think mages have more intelligence. I doubt it's also picking like the right mana and health values, but everything else, I'm not mad about everything else, to be honest. And if I click on add a habit, okay, if I click on add a habit, it takes me to the habit system test. That's all right. At least I know that still works, right? If I complete one here. Yep. And if I hit transform day. Yep, that still works, so that's fine. And I wasn't expecting it to connect all the dynamic things. We can do this later. And if I go to the settings page, we have all the buttons. Character stat sandbox. Oh, it's actually, yeah, if I check the stat, it's actually creating the character with 10, 10, 10, 10. So I need to check that out. So I guess the stats are right. And if I level up, let's see if I'm gonna add some experience here. So now the bar should be like half. It's working, it's a half. So it seems like the experience system is connected. The level, let's check if the level works. So if I go in character stat sandbox again and I simulate habit completion, habit completion, habit completion, man. Now I'm level 2, and if I go to the dashboard, I can see the level 2. And if I add my stats, like edit my stats, I'm sorry, allocate. If I go and say more intelligence, now I have 12 intelligence. And if I go to the dashboard, now I got 12 intelligence here. So yeah, that's actually it's surprising that it connected all the dynamic things. It didn't got the image though, but that's okay. We can fix it with a couple of prompts, with a single prompt, I believe. And everything else, I think I just make manual changes in order to make it look exactly like I want. The habits are not connected. That's something that I'm watching right now, that the habits aren't connected. But maybe I don't want to connect it yet, but because I want to create the element where I want it to look like. So let me think real quick. Also, the mana and health. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. That's something that gave us some trouble when we added the combat system. And let's just make sure all the other systems work. So we only had habit testing and character stats. Yeah, I think we removed the character edit button. Damn, I think this is pretty good actually. My instruction was kind of vague, so I was expecting more errors and things, but this is quite good. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to reload to see if this is working with the skeleton loading. It's not, as you can see. And I'm going to make it use the right image, right? So maybe I wanted to do this with Lovable because Lovable has access, like you can read the buckets and stuff. So I'm gonna push this version up. Is this the one? Yeah. Git add m, git commit message is gonna be added, updated dashboard, created settings, and then git commit. And I'm going to also remove the assets folder if we don't need it anymore. Right? Just remove it. I think it's gonna crash probably because it's currently using some images from it, but that's fine. Git commit and git push origin main. Yep, we got it. And now we should be seeing that in that commit in Lovable. That's fine. I'm honestly very surprised and very proud about this approach we're taking in building features. Maybe it's a different approach from what I think most of the vibe coders are trying, because I'm sure that most of the vibe coders aren't getting a design ready for the app. But if you're trying to get like a design that it's at least something that you kind of consider putting blocks, it doesn't have to be something custom like this, but maybe you put a couple of blocks from a template and you want it to look exactly as that because it's more usable, or it provides like a better picture in your mind of it. Then building with this approach, I'm saying, it's gonna surprise you. Actually, I think right now this is the best way to develop scalable apps using AI tools. All right, so let's change the image. Great. I've made a couple of changes to the dashboard screen. It's now picking dynamically. Is that not the way to know? So dynamically how the fuck do you spell? Oh, there. My bad. It's not picking that. It's now, not. It's now picking dynamically the character data, stats, health, name, class, experience. However, it's missing the dynamic image for the character. Can you help me? Can you help me? One, making sure the image loaded in the dashboard is the right for the current character /gender from the Supabase bucket. And two, I'm gonna tell them you can use character creation step in onboarding as reference because we have the images plugged in there. And second, I'm gonna tell it to, but what's the other thing I wanted to do? Add the skeleton loading. Second, add skeleton loading for this page. Do we need to? Yeah, let's just say make sure our previous skeleton loading system works in the dashboard page as well. And let's go with that. Let's see what it does. I don't mind connecting the habits yet. I want to get everything else. And then I'm going to move to connect the habits. This shouldn't take much from Lovable, what I'm asking right now. Oh, just checking some things of the stream right now. And I'm back, okay. Have you updated the dashboard page to use? Okay, so if we can reload this, or at least load it for the first time, it is using it. That's so cool. You can check it out here, like how it loads. See, I like that. So now I'm going to make just a couple of manual changes. So I'm going to fetch the changes I just made in Lovable to my local instance. Oh, it actually got the source, the public assets again. I think it's because we set up an instruction to ignore these folders. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to the dashboard page, I think. Yep. And I want to increase the character avatar a bit more. So if I check the, I'm gonna close out the scrap right now. And if I go to onboarding step number 2, what was that? It was in component, no. I'm just gonna go type it here. Step. Yeah, character creation step here. And if we open that, we're gonna use a similar size image for the character class. I'm just checking where the style is. Image, okay, he's using the source there, the full icon. Character avatar, okay, it's using this height. So I'm gonna try to copy that height and actually say W full, right? Maybe here as well. This is the container for the image, I'm guessing. So if we move this out, and if I run npm run dev and check the link, I'm gonna close this actually. Okay. This is the old project. And if we go here, now it's loading a lot bigger. See? Maybe we want to make it just a bit. I don't know. I think it's all right. I would love to show the habits to show like in the first glance of the screen that you get, but I think that's gonna have to wait. Maybe we can move this window a bit upper, right? So I'm gonna go and right now what we're just doing is polishing details. Okay, this is not like needed. I'm pretty sure you can go to the App Store and use this screen and it's decent right now. If the habits work, of course, but I like to polish the details, so I'm gonna work on that real quick. Um, Actually, I'm going to check that every image works too. So if I go to um, oh, it's actually picking the habits from the menu as well, right? That's cool. I like that. Let's make these changes real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna go to dashboard in here, and where it previews the character stats, you have MT minus 40. Maybe we could use 56. I'm going to make it in another screen just to see how it looks lively. Yeah, I think I like maybe 48. It's okay. I'm gonna also put my glasses on because my eyes are hurting a bit from the screen. Such an old sage right now. I'm just 29, by the way. I just have an older soul. There you go, better. And I think we can actually improve this element a bit, because if you see on my design, like this part is split. I'm not sure if I like the split better. I think I'm fine with it being, maybe we can just add like a divider up here as well. But the name part, it's slightly clearer. I like that effect, that it's slightly clearer. So, and I also like the name to be a bit bigger, like in the same size as Today Habits. So I'm gonna do exactly that. I'm going to go to the code, see in the code, if I search for Today Habits, does it show like a text? Oh my god. Habits. Yeah, Today Habits, you can see here, and that's an H2. So I'm gonna change the name of the character here for an H2. Where is the name of the character? Character name here, H2. I'm going to remove this text LG because that's modifying the size. And if I go and save it, I should be able to preview the changes, right? It's actually smaller. Wow, that's surprising. Wait, if I'm checking habits, oh, it has habits has the text LG class, so that might be why. Could it be that it's the same? Yeah, it's actually the same size, maybe. No, I refuse to believe it's the same size. No, it is, dude. What happens if I use H1? Let me check if H1 is too big. Is it too big? It doesn't seem affected by the tag there. So maybe Excel. Is it working Excel? I think it's a bit high. 2XL maybe. I think Excel is okay. Let's just leave it at Excel. Now, as you can see, like level up is a bit upwards, so I'm gonna add a bit of margin there. Leading 7. Why is it using leading? Let me remove the leading. Now now I see why it's using leading. But it's adding a lot of bottom space. I think I can save some space here, to be honest. Maybe not. Also, I want to change the color of the bar, the experience bar. So I'm gonna go to experience bar here, and yeah, it's not being defined in here, I believe. The color of the bar, I don't think it's being defined here, so I'm gonna ask for it. But before, and actually I can just inspect this element even without asking, and try to change the style, background primary. So I'm gonna go and say, what has background primary in here? And no one does, so background primary in batch, calendar, checkbox, progress. Is it progress maybe? Could it be progress? I'm gonna check it out. If I go to my XP bar component here, it's actually, yeah, it's using the progress element there, so I can change the color over here, I'm guessing. Yeah, instead of background primary, gonna use background white, and that should change the value there. Excellent. Now let's keep working on the details here. I want to reduce the space in here a bit too. So if I go to this div, this has some padding button. Padding, yeah, EY. Yay. Padding Y. The XP bar has padding Y. I'm going to remove it real quick. Yeah. And also the character name container. Character name container. Oh yeah, it has a padding Y here. If I remove it, that's crazy. The default padding is actually bigger. I think that's fine as it is right now. I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm just going to change the character level color. I want it to be a bit more faded, so I'm gonna go and add a bit of fade here. Yeah, like that. And what else? And I think I want a divider. Oh yeah, we need a different color on the kind of section where the name is. So we're gonna go to character name, which I think is this one. Maybe let's try. I'm gonna try background red, background green, because I don't have any red color. Yeah, so that's not the one. Maybe it is this one, right? Yeah, it's that one. And we're gonna use 80. That's fine. And I think we want the experience bar up there. No. Okay, now I understand why we match this two together and then this aside. And you know what? Maybe we wanna do that. So I'm just gonna ask the AI to do that for me real quick. So in cursor, I'm going to select this right here and the XP bar and the stats container and the primary stats. Yeah. And then I'm gonna tell them, please help me split the container with the name, level, name, level, class icon. Please help me split this current structure into two different containers, one with the name, class, level, span and level info, and another with the stats with the rest of the stats. Keep the same colors and backgrounds as right now. Let's see what it comes up with. If we accept that, oh, it's actually still working. Okay, let's accept that. Wow, it broke. It broke. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I think I know why it's breaking up. I might need to select the whole code, not the section I just selected, because it's ignoring the parent containers and stuff. Wow, this is cool. This is how it picks the gender and the character class icons, like with a constant. That's really cool. I like that. It's a more dynamic approach, actually. I'm happy. I'm happy that we changed the assets to the bucket super-based version. I think that was a good call, although unexpected today. Okay, so it's making the split. I'm gonna try this one. If it doesn't work, I'm just gonna do it manually because this gives me an error. Yeah, there you go. Okay, it worked. It works. So I'm just going to split this two now, like Victor. If I go to the XP bar, XP progress. Where are you? XP stats container. It's up here, right? Character info, class name. How it's over here. Yeah, it's over there. So if I add a background green here, I always like to do this of just adding a color to the while I'm working on front end things, because it quickly gives me a cue of what's the element that I'm trying to pick up, as you just saw. So I'm noticing that these are actually under the same container, but I don't necessarily like that container to have like a background color. So I'm gonna check real quick. If I go and say background green right here, it should change the whole thing. Yep. So I don't want that to have any color, I believe. There. And I want the first part to have this color. And maybe I do want this backdrop blur in here. Yep. And the margins, the margin values, I think I can. Nope, the margin values are right. Is it padding? Yeah, it's a padding thing, I believe. So I'm gonna move that padding to this right here. And I'm going to 80, it's fine. And I'm going to choose rounded Excel, but not for the bottom part, right? So I'm just gonna go and rounded X. Can I do that? Like round top XL. Yep. And with the bottom part, we're gonna do the very same thing. Adding a bit of padding here, custom padding, like that. I think it's better. Maybe padding top 4. Yes, like maybe 3. 3 is enough, yeah. And then for the other container, which we're gonna try to select in a bit, which I think it's this one, maybe. I'm gonna try to color it just to see. Yeah, it's that one. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add the very same styles that we added above. So that is no margin top, background this, rounded, like this with. I think we migrate this. Instead of 80, this is gonna be 50. Bam. And instead of top, this is gonna be bottom. And I think that's it, right? We don't need anything else. I think there's too much padding in there. Yep. Okay, that looks amazing. I like that. Now it looks more like what I want it to look like. Right. And also, I think the background color is not the right color. Yeah, it's using dark background. Should just be using background. I still don't think that's the right color, so I'm just going to check the. I forgot the name of the component again. Page layout, I think. Layout. Page layout. Page layout does have the right color, right? Background, dark background. Is that the color I'm using? I don't think so. If I go to the onboarding, pages. This looks darker right now. Onboarding progress, login. Let's go to onboarding progress real quick. Yeah, I think the background is this one, gray 600. No, wait, that's the counter for the steps. This is just the onboarding progress thing. Onboarding. Onboarding. Do you have styles onboarding? I believe you do, right? Do you? Yeah. BG background. Okay, so it is BG background. Maybe it's looking a bit different here. Oh wait, this is a skeleton, isn't it? I'm just gonna test if this is the right element real quick, just by saying I want it to be green, which I can ignore. And it's not changing, right? So that's not the one I'm trying to change. It's that was a skeleton loader. Character avatar. Where is it though? I can't find the. Maybe it is using the layout, the page layout one. Let me check. Page layout. Although I think I didn't find any background color in page layout, right? Yeah, there's no background color in page layouts. Oh, wait, it is. I think it's this one, right? So if I change this to green, yeah, it is that one. So we want it to be background. There you go, right? It's more like bluish. I like that one more. In fact, let me just put it to test right here, like this version or this version. If you're in the comments, vote below. Like, I feel like this version looks a bit better just because it creates like a bit more contrast. But this is the one we've been using so far. And I think this one is lighter on the eyes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, like which ones looks better for you. For now, I think I'm gonna leave it like this. Oh, I'm also going to fix the mage stats, because when we create this mage character, it gave us 10 in everything, and I don't want that to happen. I believe, see, good thing of the documentation is that if we go to, I forgot the name. Oh, with a hi HM7. How you doing, bro? Thanks for passing by. We're coding an app with 5 coding here. Good thing about documenting stuff is I forgot what's the name of the function and thing that I created, but I documented it, so I can read the documentation real quick to know where the character stats are. I'm using 2 things mainly to vibe code, right? One is Lovable. I use Lovable to build features and to build like things that need database associations, database integrations, maybe API even, because we can store keys in there in Supabase. And for the details and bug fixing, I'm using Cursor right here. They both have a free version and a paid version. I'm using the paid version for both of them. And the rest of it is just basic knowledge of how an application gets developed. Like, I got a question yesterday, which was a very good question, about what would you recommend to someone that is trying to get into vibe coding from scratch, from zero? And I think the best thing you can do is just start learning how an application gets developed, right? In the old way, like understand what is a backend, what is front end, what is a database, and what you need it, and why. How does it interact with your app? How does it store data? Where's the part of the app where you create the logic and the function? Where's the part where you show the elements that the user will click, interact with, that kind of stuff. I also have a pretty good guide on YouTube about vibe coding, a couple of things that will save you time and credits when building projects with vibe code. So check that out if you're interested. And no, it's on React. It's not on Kotlin. It's on React. It's not React Native, it's React Embed, but I plan to use something called Capacitor, which is like a tool that allows you to translate some of the React things into React Native code for to create an app that is work for mobile in iOS and Android. It's really going to be like one of the latest stages of the project. So keep around if you want to check that out. Okay, so what I was doing here, what was I doing? I kind of lost myself for a second. I was trying to, oh yeah, fix the stats for the mage, right? So if I check the level, the character stats, if I go to RPG stat service, that's the service I need to look for. RPG stats service. Yep, stat service. If I go to here, I should look at the mage and that's weird because it's using like the right values here. Like you can see mage has 3 strength, 8 intelligence, but for some reason it just gave me 10 on everything. Base MP, physical damage for spell damage. Get class base stats, okay. F class data return 5555555. Get a complete stats object without calculated values. I wonder if it has something to do with this. Let's ask it, okay? Let's put to work this. Wait, let's just try create a new character once again first. So if I log out here and log in, if I create a new account, east. And I go here and bam, yeah, of course. And I guess I'm going to check, create a warlock maybe. Lock. Female warlock, why not? So we can test the gender stuff as well. And if you create the lock, I'm gonna get 10, 10, 10 of everything again. I wonder why. Maybe it has something to do with manually. I believe that maybe the stats are being like hard coded from the character creation step. So let's try it out. If we go to character creation, I think we can find it manually, right? I think that's some pages, character. Nope. Yeah. Onboarding, character creation step. Yep. So when he creates a character in here, I'm just trying to check. Loading dots. Okay. Continue button. Set character class. Use state. Okay, it's using the right image. I get it. Okay, let's just try to fix it real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my chat over here and I'm going to ask for help. Thanks, that worked great. I need help fixing a small thing. When creating a new character in the last step of character creation, when create a new, let's not give that much context. When create a new character, it seems like I'm getting 10 10 stat points for every stat by default for any class. Each class should have its own default distribution of stats as described in what was the name of the service again? Character stats something. RPG stat service. Can we make sure when we create a new character, it uses the right distribution for the right class? And in parentheses, I'm gonna ask, I think this might have something to do with test sandbox functions that might be associated to character creation. Not sure. Let's see what it does. Should be a minor error. Actually, there was a component called form, character creation form, I believe, which is probably embedded here. Character creation form. Oh no, I think maybe that was the last element we used when we had the character editing feature. I see the issue. When creating a character during onboarding, would not send the initial primary stat based on the class. Okay, that's good. So now we can fix it. Okay, it seems like it ended. Wait a minute, I don't need to. Okay, I'm just going to open a terminal just to see if there are any other instructions, but there is not a. I think it's doing something else. I see those notifications are used when create a character. Let's check to see how characters are defined. Now let's check if those components currently on the application. We're gonna toast measure. Sooner toast. Why is it looking for the toast? Toast I don't need any stuff right there. I don't need any toast notification for character creation. I don't need it. I'm gonna test this real quick, right? So if I create a warlock, a hunter, let's see the hunter. I should get the right stats. Dexterity 8. I think that's right, right? I'm gonna check the guy real quick. I believe it. I know it's right because hunter is like the only one with high dexterity. And if I log out and create a mage, for example, we should get an intellect, right? Intelligence high character, so mage, and that should have high intelligence. Okay, that's working now, right? Awesome, dude. I like it. I like it. I'm liking this a lot. I think I'm gonna wrap this up right now just because I'm starving. It's been 2 hours of stream already. Great stream, by the way. I think we cover more than we thought that we were going to cover about the onboarding. I think there were going to be a lot of details left for tomorrow and a lot of QA, but I think this is already nice. I believe the only thing we need to add right now is just habit integration in here. And I want to prepare like a layout for that. Maybe we can improvise. Okay, let's before going, let's just see what cursor, maybe cursor. Let's try cursor because cursor has been really good today. And it's also cheaper in credits than Lovable. But let's try it out to see if it can connect the habits to the habit section. So that's great. Don't worry about those notifications. I only want those notifications unless created, unless I ask to. Can you help me integrating the habit service? Uh, oh, is that one? Is that the one I'm looking for? I'm gonna check the sandbox, API, components, services. Yeah, I think it is that one. Maybe we can migrate that to a service after. I think it seems more correct. But for now, can you help me integrate the habit services into the dashboard screen so the created habits go in there and can be interacted with from the dashboard page? And I'm gonna say use the layout and UI attach for it. And parentheses using the very same styles and colors we've been using throughout the project. So I have yeah, like oh, I'm gonna make sure that make sure the experience toast appears if a habit is marked as complete in here too. And finally, I'm just gonna show it the design I have, like okay, this is an image, this one, right? Just so I can show him how I want it to look like. So I'm going to copy this actually, just not to mess up with the design. And I'm going to remove this, that, just to show this, like the habits. I'm going to make this like M here. And this says add habit, so I'm gonna leave that in. And I'm just going to copy this like this and add a couple of arrows to explain the AI. This also has been really useful. I'm gonna note that down just for content creation. This has been really useful like this. I got this by using the ChatGPT 4.0 mobile, and I find out, given some instructions to Lovable, that if you do the same with UI elements, it gets details so much right. So, for example, I want to add here that each one of these is an habit, right? So, name of the habit, name, and habit check box, and this is going to be experience awarded, and finally checked completed habit. This is kind of how I want this to work with the elements I'm given in this image. So I'm just gonna copy that, paste this here. And let's see what it can do, right? Also, I'm just going to go to this database and see if these habits are being registered. Yes, I just noticed something. Yeah, I just noticed something that I wasn't considering before. The habits, check. Oh no, yeah, they are. Okay, okay. This is a problem I had before, like developing lovable things that you create like this systems that are like are user related, right? Like I don't know, listings of the user, and it will create listing for all the users instead of filtering by user. But I can see from the database it got it here. I kind of got the alarm because I noticed we had right here we had like yeah, see like example habits, but these are the ones created by the steps of the onboarding, not manually created from the user. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's check okay, something I'm noticing as I go back to the dashboard, you see that the background of the skeleton loading changes. So I'm gonna write that note down just to fix it tomorrow. Skeleton background color X. There you go. So it doesn't create the impression of that it's showing something different. Also, I can see that it's already it seems like it's finished. I don't love the layout. It's using the very same layout from the QA sandbox actually. But I just want to test the functionality right now. So if I complete that one, I get the XP. It marks done. If I complete this other one, it marks it complete. I get the experience. I can add a habit here. Test. It's gonna go weekly. Create a habit there. Dashboard. And complete it. Do I get experience for that? I do. Okay. I mean, I like it, but I don't like the layout. It's using the very same layout from the sandbox thing. But that's okay. I wasn't expecting Cursor to do marvelous here. He already did a good job today. And I'm just going to roll back to the latest version. Because just gonna make sure this is not appearing there. Yeah, because I think Lovable could be better for developing that part automatically. Like I can do it myself as well, but I think it's gonna be. I just want to start leveraging more the AI tools for front end as well, because sometimes I waste too much time fixing small details and stuff. But that's all right. I'm happy with this. I just want to try. I'm gonna test real quick how they react, the health and mana thing react to changes, because I don't have a way of doing that right now in the app. So let's say health. What's the name of this character? Mago. If I go and change Mago, where are you, Mago? Mago here. If I go and say that your current HP is 50, for example, I want to see how you react to that. Yeah, it's using the see. So now I know I need to fix that, right? Because we have two values in the database. One is max HP, and the other is current HP. I think I changed the something else here. 20 for Mago. This is Mago, right? Mago, yeah. So if I go and say Mago there, and if I update this, it's still showing 50, so that's even weirder. But that's okay. I'm going to write that down for tomorrow. That's something I'm gonna fix tomorrow as well. Test HP and P bar reaction to current versus max. I think the other stats are okay, to be honest, like experience and all the stuff. Also, we want to integrate to the dashboard the stats allocation. Integrate stats allocation to dashboard, which is a component we already have. And of course, integrate habits to dashboard. So, all right, tomorrow, Friday, end of the week, we going to finish, I guess, the dashboard screen. That will mean also making the right icons. So, creating new icons for classes. That's also something I'm gonna do. Um, Making sure that the health and mana bars react accordingly to the values from current and max things, and also connecting the habit screen. I might want to update these icons as well. So let's see if we can do that tomorrow. But overall, I think I'm pretty satisfied with what we come to do so far. Like I'm really proud of this. After that, we just going to create like the habits screen where you could manage all the habits, different like in the sandbox. And what else? Maybe even a more comprehensive character screen. So maybe you can see like other stats such as the damage and stuff in there. Maybe from that screen we'll connect later the inventory and spells, things like that. So it might be useful to have it on the first version. And that's it. I think with that in mind, we're ready to go. And oh, also like the habits window, because I want the habit window to look like this, the habit creation. Right, I have a pretty good design in here, so I like this. The difficulty badges, especially, that's really cool. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you for coming for the stream. We're gonna be streaming at the same time tomorrow. That's 5 p.m. GMT -3. I always turn the stream 10 minutes of a grace period, and I always announce the streams on my X channel and also on Discord, the Lovable community of Discord. Which, if you're not there and you're using Lovable, I highly recommend you to go there. So yeah, thank you so much. If you want to keep learning and keep on the loop about vibe coding and the things you can do with vibe coding to actually start selling this as software, please make sure to follow me on the socials available here below this purple bar, and also visit my YouTube channel where I upload videos weekly about the business and the craft of vibe coding. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.